Hello again. Welcome back to Billy Ho Sports. We're heading overseas to Riyadh for the Saudi Cup preview show. The $20 million purse is up for grabs. This year's edition features some unknowns, some turf to dirt horses, varying styles will clash. So for this field, I really had to deep dive all 14 horses, which took some time. So I need lots of likes, lots of sharing on social media, lots of new subscribers, all that kind of good stuff. And a lot of that has to do with being my Derby content. Kentucky Derby 151 is coming up. Derby contest, I think, will be coming together swimmingly. I'm starting to get a good idea of how I want to do it. You have to be a subscriber to win, so you might as well go ahead and do that now. You can leave a comment, tell me how interested you are into getting into this handicapping contest. I'm working on getting maybe somebody to sponsor some prizes, so it might even get better. So let's just take a minute. I'm going to share my screen and show you what I'm working on so far. Then we'll jump right into the racing and we will show you the Saudi Cup. Let's do it. Beginning March 22nd is going to be the first of 7 100-point prep races. We know all the derbies, the Santa Anita Derby, the Florida Derby, all those big time races. Wood Memorial, it culminates on April 5th with the Wood and the Bluegrass Stakes, Santa Anita Derby, 7 total races. So what we're going to do is have everyone has a fictional, here's all your rules. This is just kind of what the site looks like so far. It is a work in progress. Free to enter. That's the most important thing. So fictional $2 win place bet on one horse per race. Your total earnings from the 7 races will be tracked. Then after the contest ends, we will use award a winner and maybe placements. I don't know just yet. We still have a full month before it kicks off. So I'm still kind of working out all the kinks. But here's the form below. You'd click on this form. It would take you to this Derby contest picks page. And so this is basically a requirement email. So you put your email address in there. And that's basically, I got it down here again. I didn't realize it was going to be asking for a default required field email, but that is really mainly for me I'm not going to be selling email addresses. That's mainly for me to contact winners for payment. Because not everybody, I know most everybody is going to have a Venmo or a PayPal, some kind of cash app, but not everybody does. So I would rather have a way to contact the winners and arrange for payment off the grid, so to speak. Then it comes down here and you got a drop down box, and this may change. I may have to do a form for each individual race, but right now I just did this where you could click this drop down box here and it lists all 7 races. So the first race you'd want to take is Louisiana Derby. So we'll have a drop down box for you right now, but then you have the next one is the one here, and I filled in built just because I think maybe he'll be in the Louisiana Derby. But I was just kind of doing some testing. But that's all you have to do. There's your race. There's your bet. It's going to be a $2 win place bet for whatever horse you put in here. So you can put the horse in there, and then you hit click submit, and it will send you a copy of your responses to the email address you provided. So that basically takes care of it, and you can go back in, and I believe you can go back in and change your picks up to race time. And what I'll need to figure out is how basically what I'll do is just remove permissions when the bell goes off or something like that, 5 minutes to lock or something of that nature. But I will have a way to timestamp it to where people aren't, to where people don't obviously have the ability to interject their horse after the race, where that's not what we're shooting for here. But this is just to give you a good idea of what I was working on. So hopefully we'll get this together and we'll have a good organized contest with lots of participants and hopefully a nice a prize package. So let's get over here to the Saudi Cup. where we have 14 horses to go over. It's important to note that this race is a mile and an eighth, 9 furlongs, but it is just a one turn race. They use the long chute. So just think of it as, most like Churchill Downs, all of them have that 1 mile chute in the back where they hit the straight. Well, this is just a mile and an eighth chute. But this time it's not really it is a long opening sprint to the first turn, so early speed would be an advantage. I didn't really gauge the length of the opening sprint to the turn, but it's well long enough for any horses to gain position. So I'm going in order of the numbers here, but you can see next to it the post position numbers, and I'll put up I'll put up in the background the gate order. This is the post positions that I'm showing you in the background, but on the past performances, these are going to be your program numbers. So this is one program number 10, post position 10 is Al Musmak. And just recently had the win in allowance company. Honestly, this one, Irish bred colt, still 4 years old, probably a little over his head, but did win an 1800-meter race, similar right here at the course, but it was only for a $25,000 allowance race. But at least he's got experience over the track. Too big a jump, I think, for that one. This one's interesting. Defunded. I have not decided if I'm going to use them or not. I didn't use them for the purposes of this video. Spoiler alert. But roller coaster ride, multiple grade one wins, but not a signature win in 2 years. He's been in Riyadh since last Saudi. I mean, racing, as far as racing goes, and most recently won versus Allowance Company. He was seventh last year and now a year older at seven. So I don't really see it. I don't think that I think he's regressed since this is, you look back here, this is 2 years ago, or well, almost a year and a half, I should say. A year and a half ago, he ran this 102 in the Awesome again. So that's a long time for a horse that maybe had some injury issues, is obviously not trained by Bob Baffert anymore. So I think that we'll scrap defunded. Uh, Now, El Código, which translates to the code. But the code ain't cracking this one, I don't think. 5-year-old shipping in from Argentina, though, successful going from anywhere from 9 to 12, but he's mostly a mile and a halfer. You can see this mile and a half, mile and a half, mile and a half, his last three races. And if you remember the horse that ran uh, in the Breeders' Cup Classic, was a mile. It was supposedly the greatest horse that ever lived, but it was a marathoner of similar ilk and didn't run a lick against faster horses. I think he lacks the speed. No thanks on that one. Now, Factor Cheval or Facture Cheval, however the French accent goes. Awesome horse in France, awesome horse on turf, but will he take to the dirt? I don't know. Uh, he did debut over the dirt last month, and came in second in this big Al Maktoum Challenge Grade One, uh, or came in third. My apologies, but still a good run for first time on dirt. Uh, and the connections, actually, I read in an article that they were very pleased with the effort, and actually that effort prompted them to go to Riyadh, because they think that he'll take to the Saudi dirt even better than he did in Meydan. So watch the tote board, see what his odds go to. We'll have to keep an eye on Factor Cheval. 16-1 morning line. I imagine it's not going to go down from there, but it could. So there's just too many other good horses like this one. Forever Young. So 8-5 morning line favorite for the horse, of course. The Kentucky Derby trailer. Remember that UAE Derby down here in Dubai was awesome. I mean, Bookham Dano had him cold down the stretch, rolling, defeating Ben Tornado too, and then Forever Young come crashing down the way for third, just lost by a head. So it was pretty crazy. Forever Young, Bookham Dano, Ben Tornado. That was a win, actually. I forgot he got up on that one. I was looking up here at this third. I thought I was getting ready to have to correct myself because I thought he won that race, even though it didn't look like he did, but he got up. So anyway, uh, that was by a head. This is this one down here. So he wins again for 1 million in Dubai. Uh, just outstanding horse. I mean, he won the Die Schoten right here, and the Breeders' Cup Classic was third. He actually drifted a little bit and had just a touch of traffic trouble around the turn, but he almost brought Japan's racing its biggest win in history at the Derby. I think he will get the win. He could be just a very good Breeders' Cup Classic runner this year. So, well, let's move on to the next one. Six intense for me. Uh, some pretty good records here, but I think ships in from Argentina. He defeated El Codigo in a long distance turf affair, but I have mentioned before these mile and a half races. As far as the pace goes, I'll pass on six. Number seven, I had some interest in Ramjet at first. 25 to 1, I thought offered value. Always runs well, wins when he doesn't have to face Forever Young, seems like. Uh, but this one was, they throw in clunkers from time to time. So that ninth at the Tokyo there was way back in 23. But he's run some good races. I mean, he was right there in the mix down the stretch in this one. So Japan Dirt Classic, similar fashion, even though he faded to fourth. But he just the tactical speed could prove worthy of exotics use at a nice price. But I'm actually don't think I'm going to get there. But this one I am going to get there on Rattle and Roll. Kenny McPeak and Joel Rosario, America's Hope. This is the American Hope right here, man. This bounced back out of the year off the layoff here and hit the Lucas Classic, finishing third behind Hit Show, and then flipped the script on Hit Show and the Clark uh coming back. And I mean, he blew them out down the I mean, the jump, I know they got 97s in these two races, but the improvement he showed down the stretch in the Clark compared to the Lucas was miles better. Of course, the Lucas was in the slop, so we're going to be facing that dry kind of Gulf Streamy slash Churchill Downs, and you see how good he was at Churchill Downs. Well, he was really good. This is the track here and the distance in this 400,000 custodian of the two Holy Mosques Cup. Rosario, just brilliant ride, threaded the needle, split the uprights down the middle of the track, and blew them out to win by 4 3/4. That race just was eyeball popping. 8 to 1 morning line. I hope not that many people jump on him too much. I'd like to get 7 to 2 or better. At least, 9 to 2, 5 to 1, something like that. Anyway, here is probably the most interesting or wild cardish horse, aka the City of Troy horse. Uh, 5 to 2 morning line, Romantic Warrior, and you can see, look, he hasn't lost a race uh since October of 2023. First, 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 grade one, grade two. They're all group ones, except for that one jockey club, Bachi Jockey Club. But the Jebel Hatta, this grade one here, he ran down the leader from at least 10 links back, hitting the stretch on this one as the leader got loose on the good track. But see, he's run on good and yielding surfaces his whole career down to here anyway. I mean, it's maybe some before that, but this is dry desert dirt. So I don't know if it translates here, to be honest with you. So I'm going to have to hold on with that one. Maybe an underneath use just in case he pops on the dirt. But we'll see. Here's a familiar name for you, Ushba Tesoro. Not very good in the Breeders' Cup Classic here after the 104 he ran at Santa Anita down here where he finished fifth and was kind of a threatening there for a second. But Fourth, you can see here behind Wilson, behind three rivals in this race. I just think this horse, as he's aging, he's 8 years old now, and people will look at that name and go, "Yeah, I know that horse. I'm going to have him in my bets." But I'm not seeing it. His recent performances haven't been there. I mean, he's got the handicap, he's got the seconds down here, and he does have a second in the this race last year. Uh, chasing Senor Buscador, he was almost going to win the race, I guess, and then Buscador got him by a head. But I think that race had a lot more pace to it than we'll see this year because they had Saudi Crown, they had National Treasure, horses like that really pressing a hot pace. So I think that we will see at least a little bit more reasonable pace in this one. So Ushba Tesoro may go on the list to use underneath, but that's about it. Wait to Excel is a long shot. I looked at second to Rattle and Roll in that qualifier, but not close. Uh, fourth in the King Saudi Cup. Experience on the track is nice, but I think he's outclassed. Now, this one's another one. This one is really interesting too. Walk of Stars. This one is one of the few front running type horses that will be in this race. Most of them like to press and come from off the pace and close. But this one likes to be out front. Now, there's going to be some of them with tactical speed, like Forever Young has tactical speed to be up pressing more than closing, things of that nature. So, Walk of the Stars, though, had it going on, and Al Maktoum knocked that race out of the park, then won by 11 previous to that. Uh, was defeated before that. You could see he defeated Factor Chevelle too, who people had some interest in. The Godolphin Mile was second to Two Rivers. That was Two Rivers Over. That was a really good race, but Two Rivers Over, after I went back and looked, was a Bob. I think it was a Bob Baffert horse, but it wasn't really like an over the top, uh, massively great horse. So I don't know if Walk of the Stars. I think he could probably hold on for a piece, similar to Saudi Crown, I'd say in a way, to where you could see him leading the race, but fading down the stretch, but might hold on for third type of deal. That's kind of how I feel about it. Here's the other Tesoro, Wilson Tesoro. This one I really like too. Bunch of seconds, a win, seconds to Crown Pride, huge Japan horse. Lemon Pop is a big time horse. Uh, so he's run against the best of the best. I'm using Wilson Tesoro, FYI underneath. Great second in the this year's past Dai Shoten second Champions Cup. Lots of runners up. So I think the pressing style and strong close do make him usable. So that's probably going to be about it. The Wooten Sun. I don't think I'm going to get there on this one. Third in that qualifier behind Rattle and Roll. He does come from off a pace and a closing kick, but I'm not seeing it. 65 to 1 for a reason. Then you have the alternate entry, Scotland Yard. If Scotland Yard draws in, I have zero interest. I just went and looked for anything that I might like about this horse, and I didn't find it. So we're going to call it. So now let's round this out by some selections, and I'll get you out of here. Not as much early speed like I mentioned. Saudi Crown National Treasure, rewatching it last year, was a fast enough pace for Senor Buscador to get up. Walk of the Stars will look to the front. I don't know if anybody else will be pressing. Somebody will need to, because if that horse does get out on a loose lead, might be kind of hard to catch him. He showed some stick to itiveness down the stretch in some of these races I watched. So, but I think Forever Young will be closer to the pace. I think he'll be almost on the lead as they make the turn for home. Won't have a whole lot of room to make up. He'll probably be up to the lead before Rattle and Roll, because I think Forever Young's more of a presser, stalker. Rattle and Roll more of a closer. But Rattle and Roll will be coming. You saw what Rosario did with them in the previous race, going a mile, or going the same distance, same track. I believe in Rattle and Roll, and I'm picking him to win in the upset. So hopefully I get that 5 or 6 to 1. Forever Young is the obvious favorite. Nobody more than me would be shocked if he wins. But and I love his jockey. I love the rocking horse style. You can always pick him out. They wear the maroon silks, and he has the rocking. Really gets that horse going. So using probably Romantic Warrior, Ushba and Wilson Tesoro, along with Walk of Stars. I may end up tossing Ushba. I can't, it's hard to do though. I think just with the back class and the overall ability of that horse over the years, he ought to be good enough to be in your mix. Like if you're doing a trifecta key, that's how I'm looking for value there. But that's going to do it. That's the preview. Tough one to handicap. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something out of it. Maybe you narrowed down your field a little bit more. So even with the chalk winning, I think we can get some value underneath and get a nice payday if we hit. So I appreciate you watching. Look for more content coming with the Oaklawn Park Racing, and hit that like button on your way out because I know you've already subscribed because you got to be a subscriber to win my contest. So we'll see you soon.